Masterson, a star of that 70s show, was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison.
They were intended for the judge to read and not to undermine the testimony of the victims or re-traumatize them in any way. We would never want to do that. And we're sorry if that has taken place.
The Hollywood scandal that has sent shockwaves through the industry revolves around the conviction of actor Danny Masterson for the heinous crime of raping 2 women. However, what made this case even more controversial were the letters of support penned by his former co-stars, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, which ignited a firestorm of public outrage and condemnation. Danny Masterson, renowned for his role as Stephen Hyde in the popular sitcom, that 70s show, which aired from 1998 to 2006, had seemingly led a double life. On screen, he shared the spotlight with Ashton Kutcher, who played Michael Kelso, Mila Kunis as Jackie Burkhart, and Christina Ricci as Tina Penciotti. The cast enjoyed immense success and camaraderie, but behind the scenes, Masterson harbored a dark secret that came to light in May 2023, following a lengthy trial that ultimately found him guilty of 2 women back in 2003. He was sentenced to a staggering 30 years to life in prison. The 2 victims, identified only as Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2, recounted harrowing experiences of being drugged and at Masterson's Hollywood Hills residence. They further claimed that they faced immense pressure from the Church of Scientology, of which Masterson was a member, to remain silent about the abuse. Throughout the trial, Masterson vehemently asserted his innocence, vowing to appeal his conviction. Adding to the complexity of the case, he garnered support from friends and family who penned letters to the judge pleading for leniency. Among those who extended their support were Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, who were not only co-stars but were also married with 2 children at the time. In their letters, they reflected on their 25-year friendship with Masterson, portraying him as an exemplary role model and a dear friend. They vehemently expressed their belief that Masterson posed no ongoing threat to society. However, their show of support triggered a massive backlash from the public and fellow celebrities alike. Critics accused Kutcher and Kunis of displaying insensitivity, tone deafness, and a lack of respect for the victims. They also pointed out the irony of Kutcher's role as an advocate for victims of trafficking through his organization Thorn while defending a convicted. The stark contrast between these 2 positions highlighted a need for a more nuanced approach to tackling sexual abuse, one that incorporates legislative and proactive measures to combat it effectively. One of the most impactful responses to this controversy came from Christina Ricci, who had a 1-season stint as Tina Penciotti on that 70s show. While not explicitly naming Kutcher and Kunis, she posted a cryptic message on her Instagram story that appeared directed at them. Her message emphasized the disheartening reality that individuals we love and admire can commit terrible acts, underscoring the importance of not discrediting abuse survivors. Ricci also shared a statement from Leah Raymond, a former Scientologist who had been exposing the church's abuses for years. Raymond commended the courage of the victims and criticized Kutcher and Kunis for their support of Masterson, alleging that such actions contribute to victims' reluctance to come forward. Facing intense criticism, Kutcher and Kunis took to Instagram to address the pain caused by their letters. They clarified that their intention was not to question the judicial system or the jury's decision. They emphasized their historical support for victims through their work, but failed to express remorse or issue a formal apology. This response further fueled the controversy, with many viewing it as an attempt to salvage their careers and public image. To understand the gravity of Kutcher and Kunis's letters, it's essential to examine their contents. According to Cosmopolitan, Kutcher's letter highlighted his friendship with Masterson dating back to when they were 18 years old. He praised Masterson as respectful, kind, generous, and loyal, stating that Masterson played a pivotal role in launching his organization, Thorn, which combats child exploitation through technology. Kutcher claimed to have witnessed Masterson's personal growth and learning from his mistakes, asserting that Masterson deserved a second chance at life and the opportunity to contribute positively to society. Kunis echoed similar sentiments in her letter, emphasizing her friendship with Masterson since the age of 14, his supportiveness, and his role as a loving father and devoted husband to Bijou Phillips. Both Kutcher and Kunis emphasized their respect for the legal process and the jury's verdict. However, their impassioned pleas did not sway the judge, who ultimately sentenced Masterson to 30 years to life in prison. The judge considered all factors, including the letters of support, but deemed them irrelevant. His primary concern was the profound physical, emotional, and psychological harm inflicted upon the victims. He expressed doubts about Masterson's claims of innocence and remorse, as well as his potential for rehabilitation. Throughout the trial, Scientology's role loomed large, with the victims alleging harassment, intimidation, and threats from the church after reporting the police. They claimed coercion into participating in Scientology's internal justice system, which discouraged them from seeking external help. The church denied any involvement and asserted its support for Masterson's right to a fair trial. However, the judge expressed deep concern over Scientology's interference, viewing it as an attempt to obstruct justice. He emphasized respect for religious freedom, but argued that it should not excuse criminal behavior. In the aftermath of their controversial letters, Kutcher and Kunis faced severe repercussions. They resigned from their anti-child abuse organization, Thorn, in September 2023. Their resignation came in the wake of intense backlash, as their support for Masterson clashed starkly with their advocacy against child exploitation. In their resignation letter, Kutcher acknowledged his error in judgment and expressed pride in Thorn's accomplishments. He extended apologies to all victims of sexual violence and to Thorn's staff and partners. The board of Thorn accepted his resignation, and Kunis, who served as an observer on the board, also stepped down. Thorn, a nonprofit organization, employs technology to combat child exploitation globally. It develops tools to identify and rescue victims, disrupt perpetrators, and empower survivors. Thorn collaborates with law enforcement agencies, tech companies, NGOs, and other stakeholders to combat online child abuse. Some of its notable achievements include the creation of the Spotlight tool, aiding law enforcement in finding trafficked children more efficiently, and the Safer platform, assisting companies in preventing the upload or sharing of child abuse material on their platforms. Thorn also supports a global network of survivors advocating for change. Kutcher's association with Thorn earned him recognition as a leading voice against child sexual exploitation. He testified before Congress, donated substantial sums to Thorn, and delivered speeches at various events and conferences on the organization's behalf. His public stance on this issue, coupled with his defense of Masterson, sparked intense debate over the apparent contradiction. Many questioned how Kutcher could reconcile advocating for abuse victims while supporting a convicted rape and ignoring the pain of Masterson's victims. Fellow celebrities, including Rose McGowan and Alyssa Milano, voiced their disappointment and anger. McGowan, a prominent accuser of Harvey Weinstein and a leader of the Me Too movement, expressed her disgust and called for a boycott of Thorn. Milano, a friend and activist alongside McGowan, lamented Kutcher's actions, asserting that he had betrayed the trust of millions of victims. Kutcher and Kunis remained silent in the face of these critiques and did not issue further statements about their letters or the controversy. They also deleted their social media accounts, seemingly to avoid further scrutiny and backlash. Their fan base remained divided, with some defending them and others condemning their actions. In contrast, Christina Ricci, who has been candid about her experience with domestic violence, responded indirectly to Kutcher and Kunis' video on her Instagram story. Her message emphasized that apologies are meaningless without accompanying actions, and she encouraged her followers to support survivors of sexual assault by donating to RAIN, the largest anti-violence organization in the U.S. Ricci's actions demonstrated her commitment to using her platform to raise awareness about domestic violence and support other victims. The scandal surrounding Masterson's conviction, the controversial letters of support, and the ensuing fallout have raised profound questions about the responsibility of celebrities and their role in advocating for social issues. It highlights the complexities of supporting individuals facing criminal charges while also championing the rights and experiences of survivors. The case of Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis serves as a cautionary tale about the potential consequences of such public endorsements and the need for a thoughtful and balanced approach to addressing the scourge of abuse. Ultimately, the controversy underscores the importance of empathy, accountability, and action in the face of such sensitive and impactful issues. As the story continues to unfold, the entertainment industry and its supporters grapple with the fallout from this shocking scandal, forcing a broader conversation about accountability, advocacy, and the difficult choices that individuals, especially those in the public eye, must make when confronting issues of abuse and justice. What do you think of this scandal? Do you think Kutcher and Kunis were wrong to write letters for Masterson? Do you think Ricci was right to call them out? Do you think their video was sincere or not? Let us know in the comments below. And that's all for today's episode of Celebrity Gossip. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more juicy stories. Thanks for watching and see you next time.